There were a number of people that were confused on how to use the .each. I'm actually going to go over table of contents for this week as well. So first thing is we get our things that we're going to be putting at during our array done. So the title is just table of contents. And then the contents is going to be a two-dimensional array, right? So each array within it is going to have the chapter title and the page number. So we go with chapter 1, which is getting started, and then that one is on page 1. And then the second one is numbers, and that one is on page 9. And the third one is called letters, and that one is gonna be on page 13. Now I'm just gonna do the first 3 chapters. That's really enough for us to get the idea. Now, if you remember back in chapter 6, part of the advice given was to make sure that each of the lines has the same length, which can be ensured by making sure the arguments to .center, .left justify, and .r justify add up to the same total. Now, easiest way to do that is to just have a single variable, width variable, that you just divide up for each line as needed. So width is going to be 60 for me, and then we'll keep track of the current chapter, and that will start off at 1. So first thing that we do is that we gotta put our title. So the title, but we want it to be centered on a width of 60. So just .width. And then we put to get an extra new line there, and then we go into our loop. So contents.each do, and we'll just call this I. Now this variable, or we'll call it array actually. This makes a lot more sense. This is the sub array within it. So whenever we're going through the loop, array will be this, then it will be this, and then it will be this. So, spacing is off. It should be 4 spaces for Ruby. Okay. So first thing that we're going to do, right? So we're going to just create a chapter variable, or call it an entry, actually. Oh yeah, chapter makes more sense. So the chapter is going to be chapter plus the current chapter to strings. Remember, the current chapter is the chapter number, so this will give us the chapter 1 part for our table of contents, and then we need to add a colon there, and then we add the array's 0th element, so this will give us the chapter title, and then the page is going to be page plus the second part, or first, of the array. Which then means that the entry is going to be equal to the chapter that we just defined up here, this, with left justified, with width divided by 2, plus the page right justified on a width divided by 2. So what this will do is that this is going to give us the chapter padded to the right with enough white space to have it on the left of the first 30 characters in our row. And then this will give us the page number on the right with enough zeros on the left of it, or not, with enough spaces on the left of it, to get it on the right for the second 30. And this will make sure that on each row it's going to be the same. So then we just put the entry, and we increment the current chapter counter. So if I head out into my terminal and we do ruby table of contents.rb, it comes out. Now, you may notice that it's kind of odd for us to be doing a loop and then having to keep track of the index as well. So we'll do this with each with index. And this is a different type of loop. This was in no way needed for you guys to have done, but handy thing to introduce you to. This lets us get rid of this entirely. And now this is just going to be the index to string instead. And that's really the only change. Or actually, index starts at 0, and chapters are obviously starting at 1. So we're going to be index plus 1 is what we'll always be doing. And then if we do it again, we're going to get the exact same thing. But this time we had one less variable that we had to keep track of and memorize, which is always nice. But again, the previous version is really all that you guys would have been expected to know about, since you hadn't been introduced to each with index.